All right, good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. We will call this meeting to order officially for the regular monthly meeting of our Board of Selectmen for the month of March. Today is March 3rd, 2025, and we have officially called it to order at 7 p.m. With that, we'll move to item number 2, approve or amend the meeting agenda. I do need to amend the agenda. There was one omission, and then there's one addition that we needed to do as of today. If we could insert the resident troopers report on number 7. And we need to appoint an assistant town clerk today, per guidance from our legal counsel. So that will be item number 6. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Number 4, positive news from the community.
And we gotta approve the minutes.
I'm sorry, number 3, approve or amend the minutes of the prior monthly BOS meeting, which was February 3rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that correction.
Yep.
Number 4, positive news from the community. Jen, you're going to kick it off every month for us.
I mean, they're
Sure, you can be.
a little like,
Look right at the camera.
I'm like, I'm blue tape here on the wall. I'm like, it's angled and it threw me off of that. So I'm confused.
Show off the new haircut.
Okay, like now I'm like,
Joe just got back from skiing, so he's all amped up. That low oxygen level on the high altitude. That's
Breathe.
all right, hi, I'm Jen Crane. I'm the chair of the events committee. And I usually enjoy coming to this meeting to do my infomercial. So I'd like to thank the community for all their support that they've been giving the different programs. The February Cupid's Quest was not heavily attended because, as we all remember, Valentine's weekend was the ice storm. But they did have a decent turnout they were happy with. And for those that didn't hear the announcement, Lindsay Burr is the one who won that $1,200 gift basket. So congrats to Lindsay. We just had a social, the Let's Make Art hosted at State Line Pizza and the banquet room. Many people don't know that they have a banquet room, but they have a banquet room that is rentable. They have tables and chairs. They can provide a bartender. So a little infomercial for them. They graciously donate their space to us, the event committee, so that we can host different activities there. So yesterday was Let's Make Art, and it's a free program. It's open to any ages, and it will happen again on April 27th, which should be a Sunday again from 3 to 5. So different people come with projects they're currently working on. They treat it like a social time, or they come and use materials that have been donated. So you never know what's going to be there based on donations, and it's a great time just to get together. There are kids there every time. There's adults there, everyone in between. So it's fun. Next Sunday is the monthly swap. It is always the second Sunday of the month. We just move locations. We will be at the Johnson Room, which is at the Pilgrim House on Granite Ave. And the swap again is from 3 to 5, open to the public. It is all ages again. We do books, puzzles, and games for both kids and adults. And then we will be ramping up into May will be our first night market and our first vendor market, Spring Fest. So lots to come. We're just getting going. So thank you to the community for all their support, and we look forward to seeing you at one of our events.
Thank you, Jen, as always. Anybody else? All right, we have some special guests in the front row with us tonight. We have the Scouts of Troop 22. And if you don't mind, I'll name off your names. I'll just say your first names: Connor, Brian, Justin? All right, and Ray and Chris, thank you for being such great advisors and leaders of the pack for the troop. They're here as part of their citizenship and community badge that they're trying to obtain. So there's a lot of municipal engagement, civic engagement that they need to do in order to meet that criteria. So Ray had reached out today to see if they could attend and observe a Board of Selectmen meeting. So some months are eventful, some months are a little mundane and drawn out. So we'll see what straw you drew tonight. Okay. All right. Let us know how we did at the end. Okay. All right. Want to say the reception of the Bunny McGuire Park, obviously across town, across the community, northwest corner, has been very well received. Everyone is very eager to help out. We do have some donations coming in. Emily Manassi, our treasurer, was able to create a separate bank account for the Bunny McGuire Park. So if businesses or individuals care to donate strictly to that cause, the funds won't be included into the general fund. It's a dedicated fund where that money will be used for enhancements, upgrades, beautification. There's a group of us meeting in about a week or so. Thankfully, things are starting to melt off, but we just want to kind of create a punch list of to-do items, whether it's beautification, looking at the fencing, the evergreens, the paint, the lighting, some of the archway signage that we'd like to do. We're consulting Geese Sign and some of our fabricators in town to see what that would eventually look like, but it's really coming together nicely. The enthusiasm is really there, which we knew it would be. And we are hoping either the first or second week of May to have a ribbon cutting and ceremony for that. So more to come on that. In the theme of the Scouts, also want to give a congratulations to Wesley Allen. He's not here tonight, but he is the son of Tracy and Brian Allen. He was awarded the Eagle Scout this past Sunday at the VFW, which is the highest rank that one can obtain in scouting, which I'm sure you three are really eager to get one day. It's a lot of hard work. It's 10 plus years, but the rewards after that are even more significant. So really hope you guys stick with it. And parents, that road is just as long too. So the support that they feel is really appreciated. So Wesley, his project was a new shed over at the Sam Eddy Field, which is housing a lot of recreational equipment, a lot of baseball equipment. Prior to that, it came off of a box delivery truck that was kind of in the wood line and with a roll-up door that would probably fall on a small child at some point if it wasn't taken away. So that was Wesley's. It's a beautiful shed. I think it's 12 by 14, 16. Really, really well done and weatherproof. It'll last many, many years. So we're thankful for that gift of Wesley. Okay, anything else? All right. First Selectmen's report, mine is short this month. We've been really trying to hammer out this budget that is coming up. Obviously, it's the inception of budget season. We're looking at the theme last year was to hold the line. You heard that from us really ad nauseum. We wanted to try to establish a baseline and understand where the town really had been the last 10 or 15 years of its finances and paint that picture for us as an administration to kind of gauge, okay, this is what the spending pattern used to be. These are where our expenses are. Do we need to invest money on a certain line item or do we just need to hold the line? Hold the line was really the common denominator in all of that. This year, however, I think we're anxious to make some significant reductions in lines and some significant additions on some lines. There are some line items that have just been grossly underfunded year after year, even though their requests have been justified. And there have been some lines where I think we can reduce significantly, just given work product tempo, kind of a reduced scale. I think we can do sort of less with more mentality. And there's a couple line items that will lead that initiative. So with that, I'd like to have a special meeting on Tuesday, the 11th. And that'll be around 4 p.m. to include our treasurer, to include her time. And we'll be sure to get that announced. And again, that's just a conversation between myself, Selectman Whiting, and Selectman Bunce. There is no public comment or input at that time. There will be workshops later on. This is just our initial deliberation of bringing ideas to the table, exactly what we did last year. So that'll be Tuesday, the 11th at 4 p.m. Can I have a motion to accept that special meeting?
Move to have a special, you want to call it budget meeting or just special?
Budget preparation meetings.
Special budget preparation meeting on 3/11 at 4 p.m. at the town hall.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, item number 6, the new number 6 is the appointment of an assistant town clerk. So what I'm allowed to say, per our council, is basically what's public knowledge. I can't get into certain details because it's still unfortunately being deliberated and litigated in court, which is our local Litchfield Superior Court. Back August, September is when the Attorney General weighed in on the allegations of our town clerk, Jean Jackier. And what the investigation found was that there was evidence of misconduct and neglect on behalf of Jean in 3 different areas. I won't get into what that was. We're trying to put that behind us. Unfortunately, as a result, Jean had decided to file a suit against North Canaan to cover her legal expenses. What that triggered then was our legal counsel, our traditional legal counsel, segued into our insurance carrier's legal counsel. So they took over that part of the litigation, which was no cost to the town other than our deductible. And it was right after, it was basically the Monday of the last selectman meeting, February 3rd, is when we all found out that the town's legal counsel had filed a motion to strike, saying that Jean's argument did not fit the statute that her counsel was claiming. So the judge looked at it and granted in our favor was that what Jean was claiming did not fit the statute. So therefore, she had lost that argument as well. The following day, Jean did not report to work. So on Thursday of that week, the 6th, like any supervisor, director, manager would, I attempted to reach out to Jean via email and text to do a wellness check. Nobody had seen her or heard from her. So we wrote cordial communication, genuine and sincere, asking number 1 if she's okay. If you could please respond with your intentions, as the office still needs to be staffed. We do have Marilisa Camardi, who Jean appointed as her assistant town clerk. She has very limited hours because of personal reasons. She can't hold full-time hours, which is understandable. Fast forward today, Jean has still not communicated with the town. She has not been in her office. The office has been closed other than the hours that Marilisa has been gracious enough to fill. That poses a significant problem as far as continuity of operations goes for the town clerk's office. There is a lot of traffic in and out of that office for a number of reasons. Just today, we had our local funeral director in here, and he was very, very upset because there was paperwork needed in order to do a transfer to a crematorium for a deceased individual. And that was delayed because our town clerk's office was closed. So again, our legal counsel is escalating this now with the other legal counsel of Jean's. And we're trying to get an answer. We're trying to get a response. We've heard from family and from friends that her intent was not to come back. However, that's not the right path to do things. You need to submit it in writing if that's your intent not to come back. However, we don't know what her intent is. We're not going to assume because we haven't been in contact with her. This is just where we are present day, and for matters of transparency, you all deserve to know where we're at. So on the basis of continuity of operations and ensuring that that office is open, per Connecticut statute 7-20, the Board of Selectmen have a right, when the town clerk is unable to discharge the duties of his or her office and has omitted or is unable to appoint an assistant town clerk, the selectman may appoint one, who, having been sworn, shall act as the town clerk during such inability or until the next town election. So with that, with Marilisa being out for personal reasons this week and a staggered schedule. Paul Mattingly, who has, congratulations to him, just recently finished his master's in public policy and is now a certified Connecticut municipal official through the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. It's a prestigious certification that I think only 100+ people in Connecticut have. And it is my recommendation and motion. I will make the motion to appoint Paul Mattingly, Assistant Town Clerk, effective tonight until the upcoming election, which I think is a win-win for the town. Not only is Paul already a municipal employee, he'll be paid his regular salary. He'll still handle his duties as an executive assistant, but he'll also be in the town clerk's office to administer those duties. And thankfully, we've been contacted by a number of area town clerks who have offered their assistance and guidance during this delay in operations. So with that, that's my formal motion.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Any discussion? Okay, Paul, thank you. We have the formal letter here, and I will conduct your oath after this meeting. Jesse, if we could have your signature, Craig. Thank you all for your attention on that. Okay, item number, where are we going to? Number 7 is the resident troopers report. We're very happy to have these back online. Spencer Bronson, our new resident trooper, has been doing a great job, highly visible out there. We've reports of seeing them all over the valley, Allendale Road, Canaan Valley Road, Old Turnpike North, Green Acres. He's really been out there, and it's nice to see, especially some significant parking enforcement in town. So over for the month of February, he had 3 administrative services, which would be fingerprints, car versus deer, 2 citizen assists. He responded to 1 disturbance, 1 domestic disturbance, 5 enhanced security checks, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 4 parking violations, 1 suspicious incident, which could be a threat to people, vehicle, or package, 2 traffic services, and 7 traffic stops. Recommendation was to replace the vehicle mounted radar unit. Currently, the model was purchased by the town in 2003, which has an end of life of service. We did send it out to get calibrated, which was successful. That was about a $700 purchase to get recertified. An expenditure total of $3,193 is the price to get a brand new radar unit. So right now he's happy with the one he has. It's calibrated, it's lawful and legitimate. So we'll keep that right now. And he is looking to purchase a Laser Lab Inspector 2, which is a 2-piece tint meter. And that has a price of $169. Thank you to him. He's given us his numbers for the upcoming budget as well. The office has now been equipped with computer, printer, fax machine to better equip the office for town needs. His Facebook page is back up and running, and updates and posts will be updated as needed. So if you're on social media, it's the North Canaan Resident Trooper page. And the Resident Trooper will be participating in the Read Across America this Wednesday at NCES. No fire marshal.
Let's see it. No,
Okay, we'll go to the building office. A great month for the building office, very busy for municipal searchers in the office, along with the follow-up inspections, many phone calls and emails on upcoming projects. Total of 16 permits issued for the month of February, totaling $5,960. Planning and zoning, submitted by George Martin, our CEO. Telephone calls and in-person visits from applicants remain steady. Permits issued a change of use at 35 Emmons Lane for partial use of a garage to a studio. Mining permit granted for John Bunce Bulldozing and Excavating at 600 West Main Street. Storage building garage at 359 Norfolk Road. Permit denied for a 2-car garage due to lack of site square footage, went to ZBA. Permit for storage building at 11 Furnace Hill Road. And that is it, respectfully submitted, George Martin. Sharon was able to get her report in. She had for the month of February, 11 applications for energy assistance, 6 SNAP benefit applications. Number of Stop and Shop gift cards went to 5 single mothers, 6 elderly adults, including 5 food vouchers. She's been great to monitor balances and funds with the Berkshire Taconic Foundation Jane Lloyd Fund recipients undergoing cancer treatment, and awards funds of $5,000 granted to each recipient, continuous monitoring. Jane Lloyd Fund had 7 recipients for the month of February, to include secure housing, mortgage, rental costs, payments, medication costs, electric bills, past due bills, bills in collection, 4 tires for a gentleman's car to secure transportation to chemotherapy and independent living needs. Also successful allocation of funds through the SAGE program, Western Connecticut Mental Health Network, energy assistance, multiple phone calls for guidance and assistance regarding housing issues, and utilizing grant donation funds, Stop and Shop gift cards to low-income residents after using Fishes and Loaves to provide food for an entire month, primarily single mothers and the elderly. Great job, Sharon.
Good. Very small this month. First off, with the highway department, we do have an opening coming up, and I haven't talked to Brian or Jesse, but I've had a few people contact me. I don't know if they've sent them to you or Paul or Mike to talk to. A couple of candidates I thought were pretty strong, so that would be a good thing if we could get either one of those that have reached out so far. And also with that ice storm, our highway department did a great job. And I know the roads were icy that Monday morning for a little bit, but I thought they were bad. They were just as bad on Route 7, which is usually clear as can be going up through there. Berkshire School Road was a disaster. Our campus, I mean, it was just a disaster everywhere. But I live on a very steep road and it was covered in ice, but it had a layer of salt and sand on top of it, and it didn't even slide going down at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So yes, the roads weren't perfect, but they were passable for sure. And they've had a heck of a winter because most of the storms have been on Sundays and whatnot. But I kudos to them this year on doing a really good job on keeping everything clear. So unfortunately, the person that we had was a pretty good employee. So another time that we have to fill that spot up, which we're not used to because for a long time we had a pretty solid crew of 4. So again, if you know somebody, send them our way. And want to shout out I've had a lot of compliments on the resident trooper so far, especially with the Facebook posts and that kind of stuff. Just very present in town. I've seen him a couple times shooting radar and just being out and about. So it's good to see him out there. And in light of elections coming up this November, the town clerk, tax collector, and treasurer are all up for re-election. Don't know intentions of who's running, who's not, whatever, but we have talked multiple times about potentially making those appointed positions. And I think that that's the time. And if the people that are in those positions still want the position, can more than be eligible to apply, that's fine. But I think that in light of getting people qualified for each position in the future, as opposed to anybody can put their name on the ballot and have no accounting background as for treasurer or tax collecting background or doing any of that kind of stuff. If we were able to take applications for those positions and get that position, would be a beneficial thing to the town. Most of our surrounding towns that we compare ourselves to all of the time, Salisbury's and that, they're appointed positions in those towns. They're not elected positions. So I would like to consider bringing that up when we vote for our town budget, which would give us enough time to not have that on the ballot in November. That's my report.
I think the other two, Craig, if I could just comment on that, it's important for the townspeople, everyone here tonight to understand an elected position sort of has an impervious connotation to it. When you consider the role of an elected official and how there could be certain consequences because of certain actions, when they don't feel that they're an employee or accountable to anyone other than when the next election is, certain behaviors unfortunately go unchecked. We have no leg to stand on when it comes to disciplinary action, enforcement, pay. So essentially somebody could be elected and never show up for 2 years. They're still entitled to their pay, as crazy as that sounds. So in the case of our current town clerk, even though she's been willfully absent the last 30 days, she's still gotten paid over $6,000.
And not on just our town, but you can't dictate hours of operation, any of that kind of stuff. So appointed, you can say that these are the hours of that an office needs to be open in order to serve a town and whatnot, whereas you can't do that
And
with elected officials.
last year, when we had that big initiative to make the town hall more accessible, more transparent for people coming here, there are customers, right? Changing hours, adjusting lunch hours, offsetting lunch hours, so everyone here would be here from 12 to 1. So the resident or taxpayer, business owner, stakeholder, whoever could come here and all the offices would be staffed. The only two offices yet to do that are the tax collector and the town clerk, because it's their office to run, fortunately. So there's a lot of pros. I think little cons, more pros than cons, but I think a holistic discussion that we really need to have as a town and decide that at a town meeting in a few months. Thank you, Craig.
So, I was gonna bring up our replacement of our 5,500 or 550.
Mhm.
You guys both brought up that it was gonna be around $180,000 is what you spec'd it out for. Um,
Not a Mike has been specking out the truck.
so Mike gave you the number. But I just wanted to talk about new versus used versus maybe even looking at with our current employee dropping off, maybe subbing out a truck. Looking at the costs, with this new truck at that number, with an hourly employee, truck payment, health insurance, tax, insurance, workman's comp, it's $127,000 yearly. I was talking with Brian Allen Jr. and we were looking at somewhere in the 120 to 150 dollar an hour range to employ a truck like that. So I was just thinking maybe we should look at this a little bit more and see if we wanted to use that as an option. Some towns are doing this. Duffield's doing it. The state is doing this to offset some of their expense, things of that nature. And then Falls Village is buying used trucks versus going out and spending, this kind of money on a truck. They're buying, Tim Downs ended up buying 2008 5500 GMC. I think he paid, in the low 20s for it. And they've run that for the last 5 years with little to no problems. So just, trying to offset our overall numbers. Maybe the board could look at this type of thing. I'm not
Are
suggesting
you
any,
suggesting that we don't hire a fourth person on the highway department?
I'm suggesting that we just look at options and see which way we look at it. I'm
I
not
think
saying,
we're way understaffed as it is, and to have three people to run 19.6 miles of town is, we already can't chip brush because we don't have enough people on the side of the road to do things. I think not hiring somebody
we
is
can't
a
chip brush
huge
because we
mistake.
didn't say we couldn't chip brush because of
We
staff, we
safety.
just said it because of safety. But what I'm getting at is, we should be looking at maybe subbing out some of this stuff, some of the mowing, some of the stuff in the summertime, and maybe the snow plowing. wear and tear on trucks, it's cutting edges on snow blades, it's things of that nature. I'm just saying, let's look at it at a different angle, you know? Um, you know, I don't know. It never hurts to look at different options. I'm not saying you have to go with any of these options that I'm suggesting. I'm just saying that, you know, every town is faced with a lot of issues here, and we need to look at this at multiple angles. The other thing, you know, the 5,500 is really rusty underneath. Have we brought it up to maybe like John Jack here has the,
It is, it's beyond, and that's the problem with buying. The reason that the trucks that they're specing out are ones that are center spread trucks.
Yep.
For safety and all that kind of stuff, not throwing a sander in the back of a pickup truck and doing that kind of stuff. It's a truck actually built for,
municipality work.
exactly.
I understand.
And again, we're gonna be talking about a $2.5 million ladder truck coming up, and the fact that for our highway department, a truck that gets used 5 days a week, we can't spend what we need to spend on a highway piece of equipment after I just got done talking about how our crew was able to keep the roads clear for whatever. I'm sorry, I just, I
get that.
appreciate the idea. I would not be one to,
How long have we operated with a 3-man crew? We pretty much got a year out of a 3-man crew, didn't we?
we had Brian coming in
No.
and plowing, we hire,
It was the non-winter months,
you know,
The non-winter months, you had a 3-man,
he's been on since what, October,
November.
November.
November to now. And then okay.
And we still hire someone to run a loader. We've had people in the past grab the smaller pickup truck and plow intersections
Sure.
and that kind of stuff. So,
I'm just saying the state has done it. Other surrounding towns are doing
well,
it.
most of the other towns that do it are Massachusetts.
Yes.
Massachusetts has done that for years and years and years. And they had a bad contractor a couple of years ago on Berkshire, and all the roads would be perfectly clear. And you go on Berkshire School Road, it was a disaster. And you know, my sister would go to hockey and all that, and could tell you that that was the case.
You could hire a new employee and have the same problem.
I would also double check the language of the union contract. To have
Well, it doesn't
subcontract.
say we have to employ X amount of people. It says once we
No,
employ
but
them, we have to
it would
give them
be, it would
X.
be a competitive, it would be a competitive resource against the union workers
So we
currently.
would have to look into that language. That's a good idea. Like I say, I'm not trying to be hard. I'm just trying to look at bottom lines and see if we can offset some costs and do something, you know? The investments we were talking about last month, I know you brought that plan to the Board of Finance, and they kind of said, well, you know, it's the treasurer's job to invest that money, but I was just thinking, you know, Emily's got her hands full with doing all the bookwork that she does and all the, you know, keeping everything, accounts payable, all that stuff going. So maybe if we just came up with a plan that we could hand off to her and say, this is our suggestion. And, you know, you do what you want with it. We would like you to do that type of thing, you know?
Well, the big thing is with the budget year coming up and all these people asking for additional funds, before we do anything with investments, we'd like to see what the town would like to do on, whether we have to tap into the general fund to not raise taxes or to raise taxes minimally before any discussion of, investments takes place.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, you know, it's potentially 20,800 a month or $250,000 a year. We can maybe be making here, and you know, it's just something we should look into, maybe putting a plan, and that way, if the budget does fall where we want it to, something is there to put in place. Like I say, these are just suggestions. I'm not trying to make it hard here.
I hear you. I'm listening.
Mhm.
Okay. Also, I don't know if you saw the write-up about Curtis, talking about the mirror program potentially ending, this year versus the 2027 that we originally thought. It was in the Republican here. And, I didn't know if we kind of came up with a plan if this does end in July of 25, which is only a few months out for us. I made some calls, and Barbados up in New York is close. I mean, we're paying around 130. I think you've said it over the years. a ton. Barbados is right now at 140. USA is like $187 a ton. So I'm just saying we should maybe look at some options for a backup plan if this mirror thing falls out in a few months, as a board. So
I've been working with the COG for the last year on this. We've been meeting monthly about
I
it.
know you have. I know you
So
have.
there's-
This kind
There's 11 towns right now that are trying to purchase the Torrington transfer station, and
Yep.
that would be our own subsidy that would alleviate a lot of the costs. So I'm just telling you that I don't need you to stick your neck out and try to bargain on behalf of the town when we don't even know which way we're going yet. So it's fine that you're getting prices, but it's not your place to negotiate or try to find a different plan or angle right now. This is still, we're at a critical juncture with Mira. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved.
Sure.
So we're just gonna stay the course right now. Nothing is ending in 3 or 4 months. We still have the 2 years, but collectively, we're gonna try to tackle this with the 11 up towns.
I get it. And all I did was call and get a ton price.
Thank
I
you.
didn't, speak on our behalf necessarily here. I just, like I said, Curtis even says right here that they basically told us we had till 2027, and then it says in here that
I know what Curtis
we
said.
don't.
Yeah.
So that's why I figured I'd bring it up and see what your thoughts were, and, it's our second highest cost thing next to the school budget. So that's my report, and
All right, thank you. Public comment. Right here, Stacy.
My name is Stacy Dodge. You were talking earlier this evening about spending patterns and reductions in lines and stuff and being in line with other towns and stuff. And what Jesse was just saying kind of goes with all of that. And one of the big questions that I have is we're trying to cut costs for the town, for the taxpayers. And at the last Board of Finance meeting, you guys okayed a contract with an auditing company that is almost 3 times higher than any other town is paying for an auditing system. So my question is, can we continue to look into that? And I can't imagine what the financial part of that is if we cancel the contract. Because you guys mentioned $57,000 for an auditing system, up to 55 to 57,000. Other surrounding towns are spending 22 to 25,000. For a company that actually called and asked if they could ask a question, and they were told to come to the meeting. Nobody picked up the phone.
You're complaining about the Board of Finance or the Board of Selectmen.
Board of Finance represents the whole town.
They're the ones that approved it. And if you look at the scope of what the other towns are, their audit is half the scope of what we had been quoted. So that's what doubles the price.
I think that you're.
That's my
passing the
comment.
buck here. That's fine. You're entitled to your comment. But I think that on a whole, looking at this whole thing as a town, that everybody has an input on this, not just 1 or 2 people. That's a huge hit for the taxpayers in this town. When we have a tax company right here in town,
Who
And-
didn't respond to the RFP?
they did, they said, we'd like a phone call. They probably wanted to
That's not what
find
the
out.
chairman said. You should look
He
at the
did.
minutes.
He did say that. We can go back to the tape.
Okay.
And he told them to come to the meeting. They could have been as simple as asking, what would you like me to bring to the meeting? But we wouldn't know that because they didn't. And sitting here watching you, how you treated Jesse for going out and taking the initiative to get some pricing on things. He wasn't telling them that we're signing anything, doing anything. He was doing his homework. And that's what I expect the entire town to be doing for the taxpayers. This is crazy. We're all paying huge taxes and nobody's willing to do anything in this town.
Have you registered your car in Canaan?
No, I haven't.
You
It's
you
in
plan on
Salisbury,
doing
and
that?
Go right ahead. Let's get everybody that's here in town doing. all of
Let's lead
that,
by
okay?
example, Stacy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's too expensive here.
Well, you live here?
We
Do you live here?
My train to start here.
That's fine.
I don't think welcome. Stacy, it's people.
My $30 extra on my car isn't changing the town, when Jesse just talked about something that was almost $1,000.
We're just saying, Stacy,
Okay,
About taxpayers
Talking
paying tax
about-
dollars, all the taxpayers in town should be paying their taxes.
we'll expect your vehicle to be registered this week.
probably more.
Thank you. Okay,
So-
good.
And I expect maybe. you could
And
listen
I want to
somebody
say,
else.
passing the buck. Each commission has their duty. And the duty of the Board of Finance is to take RFPs and to decide who they want to do their audit. They had one response to that, and that's the one that they took.
No, they didn't. They had somebody else, but nobody.
And they told them to come to the meeting.
That's on them.
Tit for tat.
That's on.
It's
them.
not tick for tack, it's.
Anyone online, Paul? Anyone else? Boys, you got a good one tonight. You gonna come back next month? No? All right. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate you being a part of the process. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Bye.
Everyone have a great night. Thank you for the discussion. We'll see you next month.